Hello everyone and welcome to this pick a card reading video. In this video, we will be looking at when your manifestation will come true. We can also then in these piles get clarification on if they will even happen. But hopefully if you've felt drawn to this video, if you feel drawn to any of the piles, then certainly in some capacity your manifestation will come true. Here is stack 1A, stack 2B, stack 3C. You can pause if you'd like and if you need some more time to figure out which stack you are most drawn to. If you are not drawn to any of the stacks, that's completely fine. This just might not be the pick a card reading video for you, but I have plenty of other timeless pick a card reading videos located all throughout my YouTube channel. As a reminder, everything I talk about and discuss in this video is for entertainment purposes only and cannot be stated as fact. Alright, let's get into it. Hello 1A and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. The cards pulled here are, for the first three cards, Five of Cups upright, the Hierophant upright, and the Star in reverse. And those three cards represent your manifestation as it stands right now. And then these other three tarot cards, we have the Eight of Swords upright, the Eight of Wands upright, and the Four of Cups upright. Those cards represent what you can do to help your manifestation happen or to have them happen in a timely manner. And then over here for the Oracle cards, we have 49 11th house community and 35 ascendant entrance. And that's really interesting how we have, ascendant is all about who you are and how you present to others. And then 11th house is about community. It's about networking and it's about friends that we make, the people who are in our inner circle, and even our outer inner circle, if that makes sense. And then we have 1, give it time, it's in the works. I will read from the guidebook later on for any extra clarification for the 2 Starcodes Astro cards. But let's just get into this. So first I want to say that this does appear, it appears that your manifestation will happen, but Spirit is saying that you need to provide patience with it. And that's actually one of the things with that Four of Cups here. Spirit is saying to have patience with things happening. Even though we have the Eight of Wands there too. Okay, where do I want to start? I actually do want to start with that first row, because this is important. So how is it now? How is the energy of your manifestation now? I think that's Spirit is saying that you're making very good points. It's almost like they're saying you're making good points, you're making good arguments. I think a lot of you are very dead set on the things you want to have happen. And so because of that, Spirit is saying with the Star in reverse that you're blocking out potential opportunities for your manifestation to play out. Or if it were to play out in a different way that would actually be better for you, then Spirit is saying you're not allowing that. So Spirit is saying that right now it seems like you're pretty rigid in what you want to have happen and when. It seems like you want it to happen a very specific time. And there's just a lot of super specifics. If you talk to people in the holistic or spiritual community who talk about or who specialize in manifesting powers, some people in that space say that you should what was I gonna say? Oh, some people say that you should be very specific, and some people say you should be very go with the flow. And I think honestly, for me, I think it just depends on who you are. Sometimes it's better for people to have more of that structure in the things they're manifesting, and for some people, or just depending on what it is that you're trying to manifest, in some ways you need to be more go with the flow. But I think no matter what, you still need to have room for error or room for things to change. So it seems like as your manifestation stands now, there's not really room for it to change. Also, with this Five of Cups upright, it makes me believe that this manifestation that you have is not something, like it's something that you want. I see this being something that you, well, is it something that, oh my gosh, wait a minute. Okay, well, we do have the give it time is in the works. So I wonder if your manifestation, you are manifesting for the wrong reasons. I think that's part of it. So if you do want for this to happen, it's actually being muddled by any anxiety that you have about it happening or not, or when it will happen. It seems like, when we manifest out of a place of fear and anxiety, that's what can actually prevent us from being able to manifest. So Spirit is saying to evaluate your manifestation and look at the ways in which you're anxiously attached to this manifestation specifically. Are you thinking about it too much? Are you too focused on only this manifestation and you're not putting in the work to allow this to happen? Because manifestation, part of it, in my personal opinion, because if some people will say you can just manifest and not put in work, I guess it just depends on the manifestation, right? But I think that's more so like if you're talking about luck, that's also something that's involving astrology and people's charts and transits. Anywho, if we're talking about manifestations, I personally believe that it's not like praying, where if you're praying, you're asking for help, you're asking for guidance. Manifestation is that you know what you want and in certain ways, but some ways you don't, and so you leave the rest up to spirit. And so your part is also to put in the hard work to do something. Now, granted, I will say, for you all, I see you putting in hard work, but I just see it not being in the correct way. I see you putting in. Ooh, also, I do want to say there's quite a bit of synchro. Oh, interesting. Okay, wait, the top row, those two cards are both numbered 5, right? And then they're mirrored by two cards that mirror 8. So I wonder if 58 or 5 individually and 8 individually could be an important number for you. Interesting. And then the star is 17. 7 plus 1 equals 8. Oh. So yeah, 8 could be an important number for you too. Ooh, I feel like I gotta talk about that more. And then we have 4 plus 9 over here for the 11th house. That is 13. 3 plus 1 equals 4. And we have the 4 of cups here. And then 5 plus 3 equals 8. And then we just have 1 here. But, ooh, okay, 8, 5, and 4. But especially there's a highlighting of the 8. Because it seems like you're in that 4 energy now. So if we want to get to that 8 energy, then, or the 5 energy now. If we want to get to that 8 energy as well as the 4 energy, then you gotta listen up, okay? Okay, what was I saying though? Sorry, I got distracted by that. I just felt like I need to point that out. Interesting. Okay. And then 4 is half of 8, if that makes any difference. Oh, but we do have the star, but it's in reverse. So if we want that upright energy of the 8, that's where the next 3 cards, for the most part, come into play. Okay, what I was saying. What was I saying? I was talking about, oh yeah, how I think a lot of you are anxiously attached to the outcome. So spirit wants for you to evaluate why it is that you actually want this manifestation, and does it come from a place of you thinking you don't have enough? Because then part of what you need to do is also practice gratitude, which for some reason I feel like that definitely makes sense because we have the star in reverse and that's being mirrored by the 4 of cups. So right now you might not be practicing gratitude for what you already have and for the blessings that you already have received in life, or as it revolves around this manifestation even. And then it's mirrored by the 4 of cups. 4 of cups people oftentimes associate with kind of like a boredom card or just like sitting and waiting, which I think it does for you tie in with patience, but at the same time with it being mirrored by the star in reverse, this is also about sitting still and practicing gratitude and sitting in that gratitude. So spirit is saying that you're on kind of the right track. It's like you're on, I'm visualizing a path and you're not on that path, but you're on a side path that's going the same direction, but it's not quite centered. So I think you have the correct ideas inherently, but I think you really need to evaluate why it is you're manifesting what you're manifesting. Look at the ways in which you're very specific and think of ways that you can relieve some of that specificity, and instead you can be more go with the flow and more open. So that if because this happens all the time, at least with me. So this comes from experience where there are ways in which I can be way too specific in my manifestations, and especially when I want them to happen. But there could be other things that we're not aware of that are impacting our manifestation. We could want something to happen one way, but then spirit's like, we actually think this other way would be different. And by the way, for some of you, that means that if you're trying to manifest a lot of like abundance, for example, Spirit is saying that you need to tone back on that. Don't request so much. When I think of the Hierophant, actually, something that I will say that's good about the Hierophant is, and I think that what the Hierophant is trying to tell you here is that with this energy, we shouldn't ask for too much. That doesn't mean you have to ask for the bare minimum, but almost bare minimum. It seems like, uh, especially if you struggle with gratitude and recognizing the accomplishments or the manifestations as they come bit by bit, then yeah, if you're just not appreciating it, then spirit doesn't is gonna be like, we're not gonna give you all this because you're not gonna fully appreciate it. So they want you to look at the little things right now and see how those little things add up to the big things as it relates to your manifestation. So practicing gratitude, doing what was I saying though? Doing that. Try not to manifest too much. And what I was saying before about you're kind of on the right track, I think a lot of you maybe have manifestations that actually do align with your path, but again, just not you're not thinking about these manifestations for the right reasons. So if you have any anxiety when you think about if these things will happen or not, then you need to maybe also give yourself some time and space away from these manifestations, which is also shown by that Four of Cups upright for those bottom three cards, where oh, you know what? I do want to get to those bottom three cards now because Spirit is saying that what can help you in your manifestation for it to occur is to practice more gratitude, is to be more patient, and also to kind of stop thinking about this manifestation. So if you've been doing too much, trying to manifest too much, then Axel, why is your nose so cold, honey? That's good though. Usually it's not so cold and wet. Were you in the shower? I did shower today. Yeah, I showered not that long ago. Is that why it's so your face is kind of wet? Anyway, uh yeah, practicing gratitude, get distracted. Practicing gratitude, being present as well, not focusing too much on the future. Oh yeah, and taking a step back. I think if you stop focusing on this manifestation for a bit, if you actually take a step back and just don't try to think about, don't try to that doesn't mean don't put effort toward your manifestation. Like let's say if it involves career and you're already working hard in your job and let's say you want a promotion, like that doesn't mean stop working. But like for as it relates to this manifestation, stop putting specific direct energy into this manifestation and the timing of it as well. And with that, we have the Eight of Wands upright. This is honestly one of my favorite cards. I've never considered it to be one of my top 5 favorite, but honestly might be because I just love the Eight of Wands, at least when it's an upright. But that's all about movement and it's about progress. So Spirit is saying the less focus, time, and energy you give to this manifestation, the more will happen and the more quickly it will happen. Because when you come in with a mindset of worrying about something happening, then it is less likely to happen. Spirit's like, you obviously are not ready for this, and you don't trust in us for this to happen. Or you don't trust in your own abilities to help work yourself toward this goal or this manifestation. So if you take a step back, I really see a lot more movement and progress actually coming about. And then with the Eight of Swords upright, that makes me think that what will help you with your manifestation is simply just not worrying as much. I think once you address the ways in which you worry as it relates to this manifestation, there's also probably some parts you need to, because I said a lot of you are maybe trying to manifest so much at once. I think some of you just also need to recognize the parts of your manifestation that can be completely cut out. And maybe they'll still happen, maybe they won't. Or maybe they'll happen in a different way than you thought. But there's some parts, some aspects of your manifestation that need to be cut out. And then for the parts that are still there, you need to find ways to better cope instead of being anxious about things happening or not, or things happening at a certain time or not. So right now it almost feels like there's kind of this blocked energy, this stagnancy. But Spirit is saying soon that stagnancy will lift. And it's like the self-imposed stagnancy. And self-imposed blockages, which a lot of times blockages can be because of that, right? It's our own doing. And it's up to us to undo those. So and I think you'll also be a lot more clear able to think clearly in the future. But I do see things being different. The star in reverse, I see things being different from how they are laid out now, how the aspects of your manifestation, how they are laid out now will not be the same in the future, but it will be for the betterment because you'll also have a lot more of a level-headed mind. You'll think more clearly, and so you will be able to recognize and understand what it is that is actually meant for you and what it is that you can actually put energy toward in a way that does not cause distress. And then let's talk about these other cards before I go into the guidebook. 11th house community. For some reason, I think that what will really help you right now with figuring things out as it relates to your manifestation is being around like-minded people. I think part of the blockages could be because even with the Hierophant, that's about tradition, right? So maybe you're manifesting something that's also very traditional. I don't know. It doesn't have to be, for some of you though, that resonates, something that's more traditional or like conservative in some way. But 11th house is saying to I think some of you need to specifically ask for advice from people in your community. Like, let's say you are manifesting something and you are like, hey, does this seem like it would be right for me or a good fit for me? And then the other person, people that you trust specifically, and people that you trust their value and insight as it relates to your manifestation, asking these people, these select few people about if this seems like it would be meant for you. I think people will give you more guidance on, oh, well, maybe this is right for you. It seems like it could be based off of your interests and just like what I know about you, but it seems like you're going about it a different way. Also, for some of you, what this 11th house indicates is that you need to do a lot more networking, especially if this relates to a career or even like going to a college, right? Going back to school where maybe you're not sure which college would be best for you. And this is saying where you would find the best community, the best or more like-minded people to you. And I think a lot of you will also have a lot more like how do I explain this? You know how there's commercials. Some people are more susceptible to ads than others. I don't know if you are or not, but I bring that up because it just reminds me that for you, I think you will gain a lot of insight and inspiration through what you see in your environment. And like your community specifically within your environment. I think that if you see what other people are doing and there's some parts of people's lives that you really like, that then you'll be able to incorporate that into your manifestation instead of these other things that were more negative or draining for your manifestation. And it will make sense. I think a lot of your manifestation also, ooh, for some reason I want to say it could help other people too. This manifestation could help more people than just you. It could help other people in your community. So that's something to consider as well. If you don't have any aspect of that in your manifestation, instead replace any of the stuff you're removing with aspects like that. How you can help others. And also how you can teach others and learn from others. There's a very reciprocous. There's very much reciprocity that's being shown here where the more you give to others, also the more you will receive. It seems like right now you're in a space of keeping a lot of this to yourself. And sometimes it's good to actually keep manifestation to yourself. And I see you still doing that, still keeping most of this to yourself, but small aspects or some not you don't have to explain everything, all the depths and details and the whys. But there's parts of your manifestation that if you ask for advice from other people or if you open up to other people, I think for some reason that will just allow you to be more understanding of your path and of this manifestation and how it should play out. Or, ooh, for some reason I want to say too, you could maybe, not in a bad way, but maybe it's good to get distracted by being with friends a little bit more right now because it seems like you've been in this energy of being so to yourself. So some of you really just need to also be more social. And I'm hearing hobbies, like engaging in hobbies with other people. That will really help you be creatively inspired and will help you to just open up to yourself more is the best way I can describe it. You'll be more understanding of of your wants, needs, and how you want this manifestation to play out. And then with the ascendant being here, when I pulled this before, for some reason I was getting imagery of somebody dyeing their hair. So for some of you, maybe that relates where you could, if you do something like changing your appearance. Hi, honey, come here. If you do something like changing your appearance in some way, or even the way you dress, for some reason, I feel like that will get you more in tune with your manifestation. A good example. Let's say, for example, you are wanting to take up gardening. But let's say, well, I was going to say, specifically, let's say you take up homesteading. Or let's say you want to live part of your manifestation, which I think for a lot of you, it could involve moving somewhere. Even if it's just, like, somewhere different within your part of the state or city, because Eight of Wands is very much about travel and moving. So this is actually a good example. Let's say that you want to move more in a rural part of the town you're in, and you want to, yeah, do homesteading, have a farm. But let's say the way you dress is a way in which you're wearing a lot of ripped jeans and oversized shirts and such. Now, I will say everybody has their own individuality, but maybe you should do something that ties in more with what you're trying to manifest, like matching that energy with your clothes, your appearance in some way, like your hair. And also I think it could even be maybe a bit opposite of that for some of you, where maybe some of you are trying too hard to fit into this certain aesthetic. And then in that way, for some of you, then Spirit is saying you need to find your individuality through your clothes and through like your makeup, your hair, your shoes, all that. For some reason, so it could be either one of those. Maybe it kind of just depends on like where you are at in life and you relate to both of those messages, but yeah, so for some of you, it's about finding that individuality. And that would actually make sense because the Hierophant is there. So if you're trying to fit in with what a lot of other people are doing, it could actually be a really good idea to step outside the box. And with the 11th house being there, it indicates that Spirit is saying there's other people who are like-minded to you who are also different from societal expectations. And then with 1, it's saying give it time, it's in the works. I think once you identify the parts that need to be released from this manifestation, once you change things around and you release pressure, then it will get things moving a lot more quickly. Also, I want to say, I don't think I mentioned this yet, I was getting like visualizations of things happening in bursts. So Spirit is saying that's part of your manifestation, how it's meant to play out is I think a lot of things will happen suddenly and then there will be a lull and not much will happen. And then suddenly a lot will happen and then not much will happen. So if you find yourself in that kind of situation, completely normal, and that's actually, for you, a good sign for whatever it is that you are trying to manifest. Let's go into the guidebook now. Also, my cat is laying his booty on top of the cards. So 49, 11th house community. If your chart were a village map, the 11th house would be the community center, with rooms for small meetings and great gatherings, also serving the town council or state senate. The 11th house is a place to meet old friends and make new ones, and a place to work as a team, share a song, and collaborate for the common good. It includes all our collective experiences: meetings, circles, protest marches, group meditations, sobriety meetings, social gatherings, and teamwork. And see, the protesting would be a good thing too, like advocacy in some way or protesting, like being involved in politics. I think that will help inspire you a lot right now too. And then that's a way to help others while also building community with people who care about certain topics. Action. Look for the answer to your question among your social circles, spiritual circles, and your work cohorts. Enjoy your posse. At work, think about how to put together a dream team with complementary skills and mutual respect for one another. Contemplate how to make meetings nimble and dynamic, exciting, and efficient. Notice how you are affected by group mindsets, the psychic milieu you share with the circle. If you like what you become in their presence, engage. If you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling lonely, join a group with a shared interest and look around to see who's with you. If you're in spiritual pain, find a circle in which you can pray, explore rituals, or practice Reiki together. If you're having trouble meditating, consider practicing at a Zen center or with another group that allows you to tap into a meditative collective mindset. To improve your love life, consider deepening your friendship first. Take the pressure off a romantic relationship and allow it to unfold organically by building a stable circle of friends who meet your needs. If you are honest about what you're looking for, your friends may be able to connect you with a possible partner. In an ongoing relationship, romance may be lovely, but for this question, you need to deepen the friendship between you and your partner and build trust through shared experiences. Challenge. Group mindsets can take you places you don't want to go or allow you to avoid the work of one-on-one intimacy. Think for yourself. Gift. Healthy community and strong teams are made up of a wonderful bouquet of unique individuals. So yeah, so some of you really are and like surrounded by a group of people who are more down the straight and narrow path, meaning they're doing things that are typical or to be expected. And Spirit is saying that there's so much more for you, even if what your end goal or manifestation is similar to other people in terms of, like, say you want to buy a house. Like, a lot of people want a house to own. But there's specifics, and again, don't be too specific now, but there's certain parts of your journey that are unique to you that you shouldn't focus on other people's journeys and paths. Now, 35 ascendant entrance. In a natal chart, the ascendant tells, oh, what I was going to say too is that, yeah, be around people who are more like-minded to you, though, with your journey. In a natal chart, the ascendant tells a story about how you walked into this life at your birth and how you walk into any new situation. It describes the door through which you see the world and the world sees you, the filter system, and hints at your awakening consciousness. The ascendant, also known as the rising sign, describes the degree of the zodiac just coming up over the eastern horizon at the moment and place of your birth. Action. How do you see the world? Take a long look at the assumptions and presumptions through which you filter your experience of reality. Really look at how your privilege, trauma, or certain attributes of your history can distort the reality of the moment. Do what you can to dismantle those obstructions so you can see the whole view. Open that aperture. Conversely, look carefully at the signals you send off. Do they match your intent? Do you say you're fine when you really need a hug? Are you trained to sound modest or apologetic when really you know what you're doing? Do you act like you know what you're doing when you don't? Notice what you project onto the world and take responsibility for how you are seen. The ascendant is where you become visible. If it makes you nervous, investigate what needs to be healed or where you need to grow your confidence in order to feel comfortable being seen. If you are asking about a project, look for what needs to be repaired or improved before you hold a press conference. Challenge. The front door is only one part of the house. Be willing to look beyond appearances and into the heart, but don't count on others' abilities to do so. Gift. Over time, your reputation is built on what you do, not how you look. Beautiful. I feel like there's something with that I wanted to say, though. Makes me nervous. Oh, I was just gonna say again how I think a lot of you aren't ready for this manifestation to happen anyway, but in the future you will be. If and also says give it time, it's in the work, so I don't want to say a specific time. I feel like Spirit doesn't want for me to say a specific time, but just know that things are coming, things are happening, and things will happen in bursts, and trust in that. But also, wait, let me go back. I forgot what I was gonna end up saying. Also, yeah, you'll know when you feel ready that that means things are going to continue to happen or things will fall into place a lot better. But I think I will leave it at that. Thank you so much, Monet, for watching and listening to this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, you can like the video down below. You can comment down below if you resonate with this stack, and you can update your comments sometime in the future if there are any updates you would like to provide for us all. You can subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. You can check out my other timeless pick a card reading videos located all throughout my channel. And you can check out my ASMR channel, Brittney's ASMR. They'll be linked in the video description down below. Thank you so much again, Monet, and take care. Hello, Tubi, and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. These first 3 tarot cards here, they represent your manifestation as it stands now, and the bottom 3 tarot cards represent what you can do to help allow your manifestation to not only occur, but to occur in a more timely manner. So we have Ace of Swords, upright, Seven of Wands upright, and Nine of Wands upright. And then the bottom three cards are 10 of Wands upright, so a lot of Wands energy. Ace of Cups in reverse, so two aces. And then King of Cups upright. And then the Oracle cards, I will read from these first two in the guidebook later, but I'll also draw inspiration or use my intuition to draw messages from these cards during this reading as well. So we have 23 Jupiter Abundance. Literally, what better card could you have for this kind of reading? And then 29 Ceres Nurture. And then the Oracle card down here says 7, it's time to move forward. So in terms of if this manifestation will happen, there's pretty clear indications that yes, it will. So I'll help you determine what it is you can do to allow this manifestation to occur and in a timely manner. I don't get a sense, by the way, that I should tell you when something is going to happen because I feel like this manifestation will occur slowly over time. Or it's one of those things too where you don't even maybe realize that it's already happened and then it just happens. Uh, it's almost kind of like that. But I feel like things will happen over time so that you'll be able to ease into that transition, which is very interesting because those three cards that are representing your manifestation now are very much about things happening quickly. Well, at least the Knight of Wands and the Ace of Swords are. Those are about things happening at a very rapid pace. And then the Seven of Wands is about not giving up and being determined. So a lot of you are putting in a lot of effort, a lot of hard work to allow this manifestation to occur. This is something that's definitely viewed as a goal or an achievement that you would like to have, something that you feel is tangible. I think that this is a very logical manifestation as well. Like sometimes people, when they manifest, they're manifesting things that are very illogical, but I feel like this is something that is attainable and it is logical, and the spirit appreciates that. And they also appreciate that you're putting hard work toward having this happen. But with the bottom three cards, that indicates that something you need to really work on if you want this manifestation to happen is that you just need to not try so hard. And this doesn't just apply to your manifestation. Those bottom three cards really represent your life in general. So it appears that you're so invested in this manifestation that you're doing so much. So Spirit is saying it's okay to step back a bit and not do so much and not work so hard all the time. It's okay to keep working hard. But I think if you're like putting in extra work because you want things to happen more quickly, Spirit is saying that you shouldn't do that as it relates to this manifestation. Allow things to run its course, allow things to take time. If you're trying to rush this process, then Spirit is saying it won't come out in the way you would like for it to, or it just you won't be able to savor it as much. And I feel like there's a big lesson to be learned here because I feel like you're the type of people who go balls to the wall. You give everything in your life, your all. You completely, like you don't give up on things, on people as well, I imagine in relationships. Like you just don't give up. You always feel like there's more you can do. Spirit is saying there isn't more you can do, that you should actually be doing less as it relates to this manifestation. You are already doing too much. If you release some of the burdens and stress that you're placing on yourself to move things along at a quicker pace, it will just take the same amount of time as the way it's coming across for this manifestation to happen, and you'll just be more stressed about that outcome. So you think that you're doing more to have things happen quicker, but it's really everything looks like it will be on the same timeline. And if this thing is really meant for you, it looks like it is, with Ceres and nurture, that means that you should really nurture your time. Spirit is saying part of your manifestation, what will allow for it to happen in a positive way, is for you to enjoy the journey, not just the destination of your manifestation. You all are putting in such hard work that you're not actually being present of each step you are taking to get to where you need to be. And there's a lot of milestones and achievements that can be made and a lot of manifestations that can come true along the way that maybe aren't this big manifestation or this big goal that you have in mind. But those small, minor achievements and manifestations can also be valued, loved, and nurtured. And if you put more time toward appreciating those aspects, then your big manifestation will feel a lot sweeter. It will probably be better in some way. With the Ace of Cups in reverse and the King of Cups upright, let me think, because I'm not really in that energy right now, but I feel like no, they don't want me to talk about that. Yeah, okay. Uh, it seems like, yeah, you're doing a lot right now. This doesn't just relate to your manifestation. It seems like you're also a very kind person. I mean, we do have Ceres here. I feel like whatever this abundance is that you were trying to manifest would be something that impacts a lot of people in your life. So that's why I think you also put so much pressure on yourself to have this happen and to have it happen as quickly as possible. Because your thinking is like, it's not just for me, it's for these other people in my life. And for some of you, it's maybe more so that you're trying to prove other people wrong in some way. Like, no, I can do this. This thing that I want to have happen, like, you may make fun of me, but I know it's meant for me. For some of you, that I think relates as well. I think both of those things could relate though. Like, people putting pressure on you, but also you putting pressure on you because of wanting to help support family or friends in some way. This could also just indicate wanting to support yourself. Some of you maybe didn't grow up in very good circumstances, like you didn't maybe have much money, or your parents maybe were always going from job to job. And it seems like a lot of you are craving stability, but Spirit is saying you can't have stability if you are never allowing yourself time to rest. With Ceres and nurture, Spirit is indicating that, and even Jupiter abundance, like I'm hearing the best abundance you can give yourself is self-care. And part of self-care can be achieved through financial means, like having a spa day at your local spa, getting a massage done like once every 2 weeks. And that's true, you can do those things, but are you really doing those things? And if you are doing stuff that involves self-care, are you actually being present? Like there are people who have skincare routines, but how often are people who do those skincare routines actually taking the time to feel what's being put on their face, to be able to relax, to take in all that they're doing for themselves and honor their bodies, as opposed to people who are just like, oh, I want to go to bed, I'm doing all this real quickly. Like moments like that happen, but when that becomes a pattern, then Spirit is saying we need to evaluate that. So part of this relates to the Ace of Cups in reverse and the King of Cups upright as well, where I think a lot of you, what will help with your manifestation is to not only slow down, take it easy, not do it as much for all areas of your life, but also to focus on not so much other people, focusing on yourself and your own solo journey, but being present through each step, not focusing on the future. Also, not even having your present be dictated by the past if you're worried about this happening in some way. But the cups energy that's being presented here is telling me that practicing self-care will be so crucial for you to be able to tap into this abundant energy, because by giving love to yourself, you're giving more love to your passion projects, you're giving more love to your manifestations, you're giving even more love to other people in your life when you spend more time alone with yourself, doing things for yourself. That energetically affects everything in your life. So I see that slowing down it, and also I do want to say there's some stuff you're doing as it relates to your manifestation and even outside of it. There's some things that you are doing that aren't even necessary. And I think a lot of you know that too. It's like you don't have to do this one particular thing. You just think it would be maybe beneficial in the future. And it's like, no, you don't need to do that. Or it makes you look good, or it helps other people out in your life. I think the people who are truly meant to be part of your community of people in this lifetime will be understanding if you cannot always be there for them, if you cannot always do every single thing for them. I think you are the type of person who willingly takes on responsibility if it means other people also don't have to be burdened. And maybe it's because you're also very quick and efficient. Maybe it's because you're just also very talented, multi-talented. I see that being an issue, kind of an issue almost with you all too, where a lot of you are so highly creative. And a lot of you, I think, feel the need to hop on something as soon as you get creative inspiration. While I do agree that that can be the case many times, I definitely relate to that. If you do not have time, if there's so many things on your plate, do not tell yourself that you won't take a break until you get everything done. That's not the way that Spirit is saying. Like it's very much The way the first 3 cards read, it's very high-paced, high energy, like my heart is racing. These other 3 cards here, it's very much like a release. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the jaw, relaxing the chest, and just also receiving. Because I think too, there's some parts of your manifestation that have tried entering your life, but you've just been so busy. So it's like there hasn't been enough room and space for any of this specific manifestation to enter. So I think the more you actually do relax and you are in a receiving state, that's very important for you all. The more you are in a receiving state, the more abundance or the more this manifestation will enter through your life. But there really is a highlighting of, like, let's say you, for somebody, are always driving to the store because they just don't like driving. You can tell them every once in a while, "Hey, I'm actually busy, I can't do that today." I think a lot of you too, maybe, like, if people ask to hang out, uh, you don't always have to hang out. If people are asking you to take on extra work, especially, you don't have to say yes. You shouldn't always say yes. You can be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I already have plans," or just like, "I'm sorry, I can't." That's all you have to say, "I'm sorry, I can't." And you don't have to always fill up your schedule with things to do. And I actually think doing that will allow more creative inspiration to flow to you. A lot of this stack as well is very much tied to creativity or art in some way. So I wouldn't be surprised if for some of you, you were trying to manifest like having a creative type job or side gig, opening up your own business, maybe start selling on Etsy. Or if you do something even in social media, like anything creative or artsy or even social media-esque ish. It feels like, yeah, less is more. I think too, in that kind of sense, like if you're trying to be a YouTuber or famous on any other social media platform, people can tell when you're trying too hard to do too much. So in that sense, hopefully that relates to you either way, whether you're like a social media influencer or not, or you want to be, where doing less is more. If you actually do less and focus your energy and intention on the things that are still on your plate, and you put more time into those things instead of being sporadic with your energy, where you place it and how much. If you put more energy into less things, this is very important. Putting more energy into less things, that is what is the moneymaker here. That is what will actually allow this flowing energy to come to you. You won't actually even have to try as hard. And I'm hearing try spirit say, think smarter, not harder. You can be efficient with your time and you can be efficient with your manifestation abilities or practices. You can be efficient with the hard work you put in without having to do so much, without having to have the pressure to do so much within a certain amount of time. Which is why Spirit is saying it's time to move forward, like, things are still progressing. And it's very much that linear and that 7 of Wands energy. And linear isn't bad, by the way. I see this being very, like, chugga, 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 choo, choo. Like, things keep going, things are happening. Things are happening behind the scenes, and I think some of you maybe like to be aware of things happening where it's you always maybe wanna check in with Spirit, like, "Hey, Spirit, am I on the right path, or is all this happening?" I think you're very much number-oriented people, like, for example, people who are entrepreneurs who look at the numbers of their sales or, like, some sort of salesman, you know? It's like, looking at those numbers can provide validation for you, but Spirit is saying that they don't want for you to think about that because that's actually not the numbers aren't what indicate or validate your worth in general. I think you need to hear that too. Some of you put too much of your self-worth in how hard you work and how much you have. Ooh, ooh, this hits deep for some of you. Oh, I feel that in my chest. So just remember that you are worthy and that you are enough. Spirit already sees that you try hard. You're actually neglecting yourself by if you're putting too much into this. But what I will say is we do see here that you are very passionate about this, and I think you're very intelligent people. You have a lot of ideas, so I think that's why you maybe have a lot of ideas for things you can do to have things happen quickly or to have things happen at all. You just put so much effort. You're like, oh, what about if I do this? What if I add this to my manifestation? What if I do this? It's very da 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 da. So what we can do is to finalize as well. So finalize, okay. Some of you also struggle maybe with switching things up too much within your manifestation. Like maybe you want to move, for example, to Texas, and then like as the time approaches for any timeline to give yourself, it's like, oh, actually, I want to move to Minnesota. I want to move to Washington. I want to move to Canada. I want to move somewhere completely different. So that's part of it too, where spirit wants you to hone in on the things that you would like to have happen, because if you're too scatterbrained, then spirit's like, we don't know exactly what to do because you keep changing your mind. So it's time to quiet your mind, be still, and really intuitively feel what comes to mind in your heart when you think of your future. Don't think about what you think you want your future to look like. Just be like, Spirit, how should my future look? And if it feels right, then it probably is. Even if it looks a bit different, that's okay. Ask Spirit, show me what my future looks like so that I can be guided. And I think Spirit is also sending you a lot of signs right now, too. They're saying that what can help you is to pay attention to physical signs that you're being sent, but also intuitive feelings. And those creative inspiration bursts that you get, that's part of Spirit's way of guiding you. So Spirit is saying you can hop on these ideas that you have and do different things, but don't do everything all at once. That's not what they're trying to tell you. They're just trying to get you excited. And it seems like you just are so excited about this happening. The Knight of Wands is very much a card of passion and of going for something and taking risks. So that is something I will applaud you for, is that you're not afraid to take risks. But there gets to be a point where whether you're doing a lot of minor things or major things or risky or not risky things, there's just too much that is on your plate right now. Before I forget, 1 second, I have to get something. Okay, I'm back. My laptop is at a very low battery and it's making me nervous, so I'm just going to plug it in if I can. I was going to do it before this staff, but I completely forgot. So that's kind of the energy of you all as well, I feel. Oh, my cat's in the way. How am I gonna plug this in, honey? Actually, I might need to move you, buddy. Feels like some of you feel the need to do more because then it shows that you care and it shows that you're willing to go the extra mile. But Spirit is saying you don't have to do that. We already know that you care about this. We already see that you want for this to happen. We already, even if you don't think anything, which I think you have a lot of thoughts, I think this is something you think about like day in and day out. You think about this all the time. Spirit says that you shouldn't think about this so much either. You should just intuitively feel. What will help you is intuitively feeling if you're on the right path. You don't always have to check in with yourself and the numbers and like dates and times. Any of that can actually hinder you right now. So don't worry too much about all that. Instead, focus on intuitively what feels right, what feels like it's meant for you. And if you intuitively things feel like, you're steering off course, think of ways in which you can go back on course then. Does that make sense? Also, now my cat is kind of being weird, so I'm gonna have to move him out of here. Let's see if he ends up scratching at the door. But I hope not. Actually, let me move this chair back. Then you won't have to worry. What's going on? I'll open the door back for him. Okay, you can come back. I feel like this energy of what's going on too, it very much relates to you all, where you're just like, go here, go there, go here, go there, think about this, think about that. So you need to really have a reset and find a space of feeling calm. That will help you in your manifestation to feel calm, but still to feel motivated and still feel like you're going in the right direction. A lot of you do have even though there's a lot of almost things being illogical here. The first 3 stacks makes me think that if it were a different pile, like, I could easily be like, "Oh, this is a very illogical pile of people." But I just think you all are very guided by your intuition, that you use that to also base your decisions around your any impulsivity you have or any logical reasoning that you have. And so spirit, I think, actually does appreciate that. They appreciate that you balance things out, but that you ultimately do trust your intuition. So I think that's why if you've been getting any messaging about needing to take breaks, if you're like, no, I don't need to take breaks, spirit is indicating here that something that will help you to manifest more or more efficiently and effectively is to do that. Wait, what was I saying? To relax more, to chill out, to allow things to happen, and to not do so much. But I feel like with this Jupiter card, I haven't really said too much about that because really it's just an indication from spirit that you're trying to manifest abundance in some way. Aren't we all, right? But it seems like you're on the right path. This actually feels very good. I get the visualization of a light popping up inside somebody's like solar plexus chakra, which indicates to me that you're on the right track. You are motivated. You know what it is you need to do. So don't be so worried about it happening. It's meant to happen. Spirit doesn't want to say the specifics of when it's supposed to happen, but they're saying it's time to keep moving forward. You are on the right path. You already know what it is that you are meant to do. And I feel like a lot of you already feel like this abundance is already in your life, which is very helpful. If you already feel like it's yours, if you've already claimed it, then therefore it is yours. So keep staying in that mindset as well. Now let's go into the guidebooks though. So we have 23 Jupiter abundance. Jupiter symbolizes how we expand our world through education, law, philosophy, travel, abundance, and an expansive spirit. Yeah, I think for some of you really this does involve travel in some way as well, which would make sense. Like if you were to travel all across Europe, I hear about people from the United States doing that all the time. People traveling even just across the United States or just anywhere, going to different countries. I could see you doing a lot of that right now. It is also a time of self-exploration. I think that will help you to feel a lot more inspired. Jupiter, the traditional ruler of Sagittarius and Pisces, is a huge gas giant, 2.5 times the volume of all the other planets put together. It takes 12 years to circle the zodiac, spending roughly 1 year in each sign. Named for the ruler of all the gods and surrounded by 79 known moons, Jupiter never does anything in small proportions. Action. Think bigger. This scenario requires you to be expansive and forgiving. Deal with it in a spacious, curious, fair, and philosophical way. Think globally. Bring in contributions from all around the world. Consider traveling physically or traveling with your senses by listening to music from a less familiar culture or tasting their food. Talk to people who grew up in a circumstance foreign to you and get their viewpoint. Diversify your perspective and that of your team to discover the missing pieces you need to make up a larger whole. Engage in abundant optimism. Get the word out through generosity. Give abundantly and goodwill comes back to you. Invest in education, publication, and broadcasting. Just be careful that your generosity is actually helping the recipient, not enabling or burdening them. Ask what would really help. Jupiter's energy needs a big room and an audience, but it can overshadow important people in more intimate circumstances. Watch that your expansive capacity does not cramp the experimentation of beginners or crowd beloved introverts. Notice where you might overwhelm the people you love and give them room for their more subtle style. If you're the one being so overwhelmed, appreciate your own value, expand in ways that work for you, and let the person with Jupiter energy do their thing. Challenge. Jupiter can bring too much of a good thing or leave people feeling overwhelmed. Watch out for magical thinking and a Pollyanna avoidance of problems. Gift. Give and you shall receive. Jupiter calls you to expand your worldview, so reach out and feel at one with the whole universe. And I think a lot of you are already doing all of this. But I love what the guidebook was saying about don't overwhelm other people with your energy. And I think you overwhelm yourself sometimes too. You're just doing too much, so you just need to chill it a bit with that. But I think you do seem like very giving people and very generous people, and that it seems like a lot of you already do love travel or you love learning about different things. And I think that's part of the reason why you feel so motivated and so creatively inspired. So that makes sense for you already. But yeah, focus on not being too overwhelming to yourself or for other people. And yeah, it says Jupiter can bring too much of a good thing. So even if you have a manifestation and there's so many good components, that doesn't mean that it makes it better just because there's more good things. Simplify when you can. Jupiter doesn't require you to have too much of everything. Just enough good things. So, 29, Ceres, Nurture. Ceres is a dwarf planet between Mars and Jupiter, named after Ceres, Roman goddess of the harvest, food, earthly fertility, and mother of Proserpina, goddess of the spring. When Pluto kidnapped Proserpina and took her to the underworld to be his queen, Ceres threatened to starve the world until she was returned. Ceres is very much Virgo. If it were Greek mythology, by the way. Greek versus Roman mythology. Ceres signifies our relationship to food, for better or worse, cultivation, and the safety or loss of a child. Ceres' ancient rites initiated people into the secrets of death and rebirth through the symbolic harvest. Cut the heads off grain with a scythe, bury them, and new life arises. I think with you all was talking about self-care, right? And part of self-care could be about how you feed yourself, the food you eat, and having and with Jupiter, look at all the food on there. Having whole foods, especially fruits and vegetables, I think would, like, being, how do I explain it? Like, eating whole foods like that, it attracts more abundance to you. So, something to consider. Action. Mother and be mothered. Nurture and cultivate that which is growing, whether it's the harvest from the earth, the child from the womb, or the art from the artist. Real love can mean tough love. Doing what's best for you, for your beloved, even if they hate you for it. Love and nurture your own body with healthy whole foods. Take them as communion with the organic world. Feel the earth beneath you holding you, loving you through hard times. Let this abundance flow through you to others. Advocate for those who are weaker, vulnerable, or dependent. If your progeny, your project, or your harvest is being taken from you before ripening, be ready to starve the world until they are safe. Witness with strength and power. When the time is right, be willing to let go. For your progeny or creation to flourish, they must embark on their own journey. Once your job as nurturer is complete, let go and step into the next level of your own mastery. Challenge. Do not mistake smothering, enabling, or infantilizing actions as signs of love. Once you release the object of your care, your life is not over. A new mystery begins. Gift. There is sacredness in your daily life. Loving, feeding, nurturing, gardening, and being in family, whether chosen or biological, are all part of a powerful spiritual path. The mother holds you. Love that. Yeah, so like I said before, a lot of you are very nurturing, but it's also a time of, with this manifestation, focus on your own needs before the needs of others. Like, nurture your own needs, nurture your own wants, the things that you would like to have happen for yourself, even if it's not in line with what other people want for them. Because if you provide abundance for them in some way, or stability for other people through your abundance, then, you know, I'm hearing beggars can't be choosers. That doesn't mean you should be inconsiderate of other people. I don't feel like you will be anyway, but really focus on your own needs and wants as it relates to this manifestation. All right. I will leave it at that. Thank you so much, to be, for watching and listening to this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, you can like the video down below. You can comment down below. Oh, also, very Sagittarius energy from this. Let me know if you have a lot of Sagittarius placements. Okay, you can comment down below if you resonate with the stack, and you can update your comments sometime in the future if there are any updates you would like to provide for us all. You can subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. You can check out the other timeless pick a card reading videos located all throughout my YouTube channel. And you can check out my ASMR channel, Brittney's ASMR. That will be linked in the video description down below. Thank you so much again, to be, and take care. Hello 3C, and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. The cards pulled here are the Empress upright, Knight of Swords in reverse, Ace of Wands upright, Wheel of Fortune in reverse, Five of Swords in reverse, and then Queen of Cups upright. And then we have 27 Pluto Rebirth, 32 Vesta Hearth, and I will read from the guidebook for any extra clarification on those two cards later. And then 41, Next Couple of Years. So there's different messages coming through, and I'm trying to figure out which I would like to say first. I will ultimately say that for some of you, this manifestation won't come true because it will be something that you give up on because you'll realize it's not meant for you or that it's not healthy for you. But you'll just realize it's not something that you actually want in some capacity. For some of you, this is something that this manifestation will come true, but you'll have to wait. And it feels like something that I have to say is that right now, oh, I don't know if I said bottom or the top three tarot cards represent your manifestation as it stands right now, but these other cards represent how you can help this manifestation to come true or just how you can help this manifestation. I will say this. Spirit is basically indicating that any manifestation that you want to have happen right now, whether it's this one or any other manifestation, they're saying it's actually best to focus on self-care right now. And I talk about self-care throughout the stacks. I know for stack 2 I did. I don't remember how much I did for stack 1, really, but or maybe it's the opposite. Anyway, it feels like Spirit is saying, we will not have this come true for you until you focus on yourself. There appears to be parts of yourself that you are neglecting, that you are not focusing on. We have the Empress here. So I feel like, yeah, you're in a phase right now where it's more so that you need to focus on healing yourself. If you are not fully healed, or at least healed enough, then any certain manifestation, goal, whatever it is that you have in mind will not occur. I will say for some of you, this indicates with the Empress, it's really interesting. I feel like there's conflicting energies here almost, because I'm getting kind of confused by some of this. Normally, I'm not like confused as in like I don't know what it's saying, but it's like the energies are just so. And this is what it relates to you all because I actually really do think that a lot of you are confused as well. And I think part of what Spirit really wants to hone in on is the fact that a lot of you do not know who you really are, and you also don't know what it is that you really want. So you may have a manifestation and it may feel like you really want it. It may be something also that you've wanted for a long time. We have with the Empress there, it can make me think of things that have been there since childhood or things we've nurtured for a long time. But it feels like Spirit is saying this thing that you have in mind that you want to manifest, a lot of you don't really actually want, or at least not in the way you think you do, which is why some of you maybe haven't even taken any effort toward having this manifestation happen. Maybe you have ideas and you think about them, but you don't act upon them. The energy is very, very scattered all over the place, but a key message is that you need to work on healing yourself before you can work or before you can focus more so on a manifestation that you have. Because I think that the manifestation that you have is actually rooted in something that doesn't ring true for you. Let's say you're trying to manifest like winning the lottery, right? But then let's say that your personality is like, oh yeah, eat the rich, F capitalism, and like you hate billionaires. It's like, okay, so why are you trying to become what you hate? So I think there's a lot of conflicting energies where a lot of you don't realize that the beliefs you hold completely go against or are in opposition with your manifestation that you have in mind. And for some of you too, I want to say that this manifestation for some reason could harm other people. I don't know why that is. Maybe if your manifestation involves like revenge. Ooh, here's what I'll say too. If you are manifesting like a love life, if you are manifesting a specific person, this is indicative from Spirit that this is bad karma. Wheel of Fortune reverse. If you're trying to manifest a specific person, you will negatively be impacted by this. And we see here that With the Five of Swords in reverse, this isn't something that the person would actually want. It just would be something where they're like almost kind of tricked into the situation. So any which way in which you're trying to manifest, excuse me, a specific person into your life or trying to like get somebody to fall in love with you, Spirit is saying that manifestation will not work in your favor. And in that sense too, Spirit is saying, why do you have this need? Oh, and Pluto rules Scorpio, by the way. So it's very much this like vengeance or like black magic type energy. Spirit is saying, if you feel like something's meant for you, why do you feel the need to incorporate magic or manifestations in a way that will actually harm you in the long run and also harm the other person? And also, if you really care about somebody, why would you have them do something that's against their will, right? Because maybe, for example, somebody actually does like you, they just haven't expressed their feelings yet, but then you keep trying to specifically manifest this person into dating you, and let's say that happens, there's going to be something that ends up breaking y'all apart anyway. And it feels like you might end up being like, oh, I don't even actually like this person. I just like think they're pretty or something. You know what I'm saying? So Spirit is saying you really have to be careful. Like caution. Taking caution is a very big statement for you all. You must take and heed caution. Where it seems like this is a time of you could potentially, with the Knight of Swords in reverse, make a lot of mistakes that you don't realize impact you negatively in the long run. With the Queen of Cups, that's indicating that at this point in time, what can help you with any manifesting is focusing on your heart. And even we have Vesta Hearth here. Focus on your heart. Focus on what feels right. Does it truly feel right to manifest something that could harm other people or that goes against another person's wishes? And if it does, then no offense, I feel like Spirit is saying you're kidding yourself here, and that this will end up biting you as well. And that I feel like if this relates to love, then Spirit is really saying too that I think a lot of you maybe don't have the best mindset with love as well. I think a lot of you are very flighty when it comes to love anyway, where it's maybe hard for you to commit or to fully open up. So that's why Spirit is saying that it's best right now to commit to your own self-healing. There's a lot that you have not healed within yourself. There's a lot that you have not addressed that you've pushed deep down inside of you. And so with this rebirth card, Spirit is saying that you need to focus on healing and working through these past hurts, realizing where they affect you now and how they get you in this mindset that you're in now to want to manifest something like what you're trying to manifest right now. Because it maybe comes from a place of lack, it maybe comes from a place of specifically a lack of love, or it comes from a place maybe of a lack of trust. It comes from a place of just any pain that's maybe been caused upon you. And if this manifestation deals with vengeance of any kind, Spirit is saying, karma is a bee. What goes around comes around. Remember that people get their karma and that you don't have to do too much for karma to, like, karma will happen either way, whether you have a say in it or not. You could simply just say, I wish karma upon this person. That's all you need to say. You don't need to go into specifics. I think there's certain things and certain people that are taking up way too much of your of space in your brain and your mind, to the fact that it's really confusing your brain into thinking that maybe you want something, you want a certain outcome, and then if it happens, then you feel really crappy, and you end up realizing you don't actually want it. So something you can also do with that Five of Swords in reverse is to forgive. Of course, I don't know your situation. I'm not saying you have to forgive people in order to heal and move on, but for a lot of you, something in some capacity, there's somebody or something from your past that you need to forgive. Could be in your present as well, but it really feels like it's this could be somebody that relates to your past. If you were in a past relationship and they were awful to you, forgiving that person does not take your power away. It shows, hey, I claim my power back and I don't allow your energy to affect me anymore. I release it, and it is not to touch me, it is not to hurt me in any way. So a lot of you need to do some cord cutting, but also just healing of certain situations in the past and forgiving. And forgiveness in this sense, I feel like is more so going to be an internal thing. I don't feel like for much of you, you should even really specifically talk to somebody in person saying, "Hey, I forgive you," because I feel like for a lot of you, maybe this person or these people in your life aren't actually here anymore, but they used to be. So it's like writing a letter, burning it, or just ripping it up, or just saying in your mind or out loud, processing how you feel in relation to a past moment and forgiving it so that you can release the person or the situation so it doesn't have an impact on you anymore. And you'll realize that a lot of things that maybe drive you right now, a lot of things that motivate you aren't things that are positive in nature, and they aren't things that you want to actually have attached to you. So then you'll be able to start thinking, well, what do I actually want? So right now you're in a period of figuring out who you are, the Empress upright, what you want, Ace of Wands, and trying to figure out what's holding you back from your past, that Knight of Swords in reverse. Karma could also, with this Wheel of Fortune reverse, do with past life karma, so that could be what's preventing you from moving forward, is that there's something from an actual past life that is impacting your ability to manifest. And so with that, if you're able to see a past life regression therapist, see some sort of mystic, a tarot reader, psychic medium could be cool for you, and seeing if there's any negative attachments, because here's the thing too, some of those negative attachments you have from other people are from this lifetime, but some I think will also be from past lifetimes, and you might even realize that the people from this lifetime and the people from the past lifetimes are the same people, like the same soul that incarnates and keeps affecting you. So there are people in your life who you maybe need to cut out of your life, who you need to have better boundaries with, or you just need to identify the situation so that they don't have to have an impact on you anymore and your ability to live your best life. Queen of Cups upright, it indicates to me, I will say, these first three tarot cards indicate a lot of, like, kind of anxiety for me and a lot of uncertainty. These other cards bring about certainty. These final three cards, they bring about certainty, but also still anxiety. But also I see that you feeling a lot more empowered by the end of this. And with Vesta Hearth, I think the more you know who you are, the more you will know what you want and what you do not want. The more you will also realize the people you do want around you and the people you do not want around you. And you'll also develop a lot healthier habits. A lot of you right now do not have the best of habits, and I think you rely also on other people for validation. So that's also what drives this manifestation. You thinking that this manifestation is for you, but it's really what other people think is best for you. Or you thinking this certain manifestation is what's best for you, but you haven't really even given it much thought. Or it comes from a place of anxiety. So then, working on yourself, you'll feel a lot more calm and at peace, and I think you'll realize, I think for a lot of you, you think this manifestation could be like a cure-all for many things in your life, but Spirit is saying that it's not. That if this certain manifestation happens, it should happen in a way that's healthy. What I was gonna say though is that I think a lot of you could have bad habits or addictive habits. So Spirit is saying that it's something that could help you with any manifestation you want to have happen in the future is for you to focus on these patterns and think about how that relates to karma or how that relates to even love specifically, because for quite a bit of you, I think that's what could be related here. But also think of your own part. Remember that it's not always other people's fault for the things that have happened in our past. That isn't to say that you can't be upset for things happening to you in the past and that people aren't bad people or they didn't do bad things. But, humans make mistakes. We are not perfect. So something that can help you with manifesting in the future is to also identify where you've been wrong in the past, where you've made mistakes, and maybe where you need to apologize to other people as well. It's not just about other people, like you forgiving other people or other people apologizing to you. The same can be said. I think a lot of you, I'm seeing the visual of like a mirror being held up to you. So I think a lot of the things that you don't like right now in other people or in the past, a lot of things you haven't liked that have happened. Spirit is saying that you've kind of almost mirrored that in some way, or you've internalized that, and now you express some of those negativities or those hardships. So Spirit wants you to identify those parts of yourself in your present or your past and to release them, to also forgive yourself for any which way that you haven't treated yourself kindly, any which way that you've allowed other people to step all over you, any which way in which you've treated others badly. Because I think identifying the ways in which you've treated other people poorly, if you forgive yourself, but also like if you just like say in your mind or like say internally or externally, I'm sorry for this thing I did, you'll realize there will be a lot more abundant opportunities coming your way, and it will also just be a lot more importantly for you right now, it will be easier to heal because you don't have these things that are holding you back, that maybe you don't even realize are there. With Pluto rebirth, it really is a time now of healing. So the Spirit doesn't want me to focus so much on this manifestation as much as they're saying to not even worry about this right now. This isn't something you should focus on. And with Vesta Hearth, Spirit is saying that you need to feel safe within yourself. And you need to learn to trust yourself. A lot of you do not trust yourself. You may think you do, some of you, okay? But is it actually trusting yourself, or is it protection of the ego? Is it overprotection, I should say, of the ego? Do you have a lot of projections? I think a lot of you don't feel as safe within yourself as you believe that you do. And if you do, does it come from a place of ego? Like, this is a time of confronting yourself. And please do not do this with shame. I think a lot of you could confront yourself with anger or blame or shame. Spirit does not want for you to do that. They're saying that that isn't helpful for your healing process or your healing journey. It's okay to realize things. It's okay to have emotions and be upset with yourself. It's okay to be upset with other people. But we can't hold on to that forever. There's a reason why we need to evaluate these things that have happened or evaluate people in our lives at this time for you. And it's so that we can heal. It's so that we can move on. And it's so we can realize what we can do better to be the people we are meant to be. This feels very deep. Like, it feels like there's a lot of darkness that needs to be uncovered or stripped away from you. And I think for a lot of you, being in that darkness feels comfortable. It feels safe. And I completely understand that. I really do. But that's not true safety. That's not what Vesta is saying. That's here to show you that there is true safety on the other side of this. So you need to be able to allow yourself to open up to yourself. This doesn't feel like a situation where you need to let other people know much of what's going on in your life. That doesn't mean you can't, but this very much feels like an internal journey. It feels like therapy is very much recommended at this time as well. And it feels like journaling, writing down will help. For me, I am like, whatever, journaling's fine. But then when I started watching Patrick Teehan videos online and actually taking notes, that's when I realized things for myself. Like, oh, I didn't realize that this situation happened to me like 15 years ago and that still impacts me. When you write things down for this group, you writing things down will help you to realize, oh, this suppressed memory happened, or oh, this is actually why I acted like this way. I'm not one of those people who's like, you have to journal every single day. You have to do journaling prompts every single day. Like, for me, that just makes me more anxious. But I think some just doing it randomly, but balancing that out with setting aside time, like scheduling time like a week in advance or however many days in advance, and being like, on this day, I'm going to work on these specific journaling prompts, and like looking up the questions, setting them aside, and then evaluating those prompts later on, because then having those questions too, I think, laid out and then getting back to them like a few days or a week later, that question or those questions will seep into your subconscious and the gears will already get going, and so it will help you to open up to yourself and open up these core wounds or core memories that need to be expressed and need to be healed in some way, but not from a place of shame. You hold like, this really will give you so much power moving forward because you will know who you are and you'll be confident in who you are. You won't question who you are. You won't get validation from other people about who you are. You won't have any cultural conditioning. And I just see you being also very brave going through all these things. Like, actually facing yourself. Not a lot of people actually do that as much as they say they do. Healing yourself, actually looking at yourself, healing the parts of yourself that need to be healed, that is very brave and strong work. So you just need to keep reminding yourself that even if times get hard, you have the strength to be able to unearth these things about yourself because you have the idea in mind and the goal in mind to become a better person for this lifetime, for future lifetimes, if you believe in reincarnation and if you keep reincarnating, right? And also that impacts the people around you too. If people around you are in any way like this, like in your family or friend group, this will, like, I think you'll inevitably, very naturally lose friends because of this process that you will be going through, but it won't feel like something that is negative at all. It will feel like shedding of skin of a snake is what I'm seeing. Some people need to be shed from your life. Some people I think maybe will not be as interactive in your life. But then they'll come around. They'll be like, "Hey, I actually thought about certain things and I realized where I went wrong, or I realized in my own life where I've been a certain way and I actually don't like that. And I'm sorry how I treated you when you said that you were working on healing yourself in this way about these different things in your life." I think you will have such an impact that will actually allow other people to be affected by your energy. And it feels like I'm seeing what do you call it? Like a knight, you know, those knights, medieval knights. I'm seeing somebody who's a knight like Joan of Arc coming up from the rubble or from out under this cave or tunnel. You will be able to come out from all this and you'll be a lot more determined and you'll be a lot more clear-headed. And I also feel like your manifestation, so if this manifestation happens or not, I think if you revisit it in the future, it'll be so different to the point of it basically being a different manifestation. So when it will come true, it's like, don't even focus on that because you just have to focus on your own healing right now. Like, that doesn't mean you can't have successes and achievements, but in terms of you actively putting time toward thinking, this is something I want to have happen and I'm trying to manifest that, that's not really what spirit wants you to focus on right now. Within the next couple of years, take a step back and evaluate your life. Okay, it's almost 2026. So let's say around 2028, beginning of 2028, you think about the things you want for your life. You will be It's almost like you won't even have to manifest, you'll just know when things are meant for you. But if you do, manifest, give it a couple years to, like, truly, authentically manifest something, and when you do that, you'll be so clear-headed. You'll know what it is that you're trying to manifest, and I recommend having manifestations that are very tangible, like, not something unrealistic. Doing something that's helpful for you and that you feel like if it feels good when you think about you having this manifestation happen, then you can go for it. And also if it's something that isn't this grandiose thing, if it's something that's more like a low to moderate level thing that you feel like you can achieve, you having that manifestation happen and you working hard toward that happening will allow you to feel so much more power, so much more strength, and I just see that being what fuels you. This feels so powerful, but you need to be able to open yourself up and step into that energy, which will be so difficult, so hard, and I understand that, but I believe in you. Please believe in yourself. Okay, so I'm so sorry. I know that that's not what a lot of you want to hear, but I do not sugarcoat things. I say it how it is, and what more than any of the other piles for this, I when I was on that spiel, I was really in the zone about talking about your self-healing journey. Like, that's how I know that it's extremely important, the words that I'm saying, when I just, I go in and out of this kind of different altered state of consciousness when I'm doing tarot readings. And for your stack, I was getting so many visuals. I was just getting so many visual messages and even wording for what I needed to say to you, because this just feels so important, so impactful. And if I can help you to break any karmic cycles, I will gladly do that. So it's like, I know it's not what you maybe want to hear, but this is important for your soul's evolution we're talking about here. Okay, let's see if we can get any extra clarification in the guidebooks. 27 Pluto Rebirth. Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio and is a powerful planetoid that takes 248 years to traverse the zodiac. Pluto and Charon, the largest of its 5 moons, circle each other and create a binary system. Most myths connected to Pluto, god of the underworld, have 2 major characters: the one who descends into the underworld to return reborn, and the one who either sends souls down to the underworld or greets them on arrival. From Pluto to Proserpina, to Seth and Osiris, and Inanna and Ereshkigal, both sides of these myths, the use and abuse of power, and the willingness to be reborn again into their empowered divine self, describe Pluto's influence. Pluto was also lord of mining, retrieving valuables from deep within the earth. Action. Pluto calls for 3 actions. First, to dig deep. Second, to be willing to transform. And third, to use power wisely. Pluto calls you to drill down, dig up what is worthy and bring it to the surface, then rinse away the dirt and uncover the gold. Bring up riches whenever you dig deep into your soul's work. Notice obsessions and neuroses. These signs of stress must be listened to and healed, but don't allow them to control you. Pluto reminds you that you can't hold on to the past, but you can take care of yourself. To begin this work, you may have to let go of an old form, as a caterpillar must become a butterfly. Mourn what you've left behind, then get curious about what is about to arrive. Examine the power dynamics of this situation. Neither give yours away nor misuse your power over others. Step out of a power struggle and into self-empowerment. Challenge. Pluto's shadow side can bring up obsession, depression, mortality, and grief. Pluto plays hardball, so get a guide for this realm if needed. Spiritual gift. Pluto asks you, in the face of life and death, why are you here? This isn't a rhetorical question. Strip down to the essentials and come back to what really matters to find the answer. Also, I feel like 7 could be an important number for you. 7 is about expansion. It's very much connected to spirituality and also cutting ties with karma and having positive karma. 70 is the page number of the first page for Pluto. We have 7 and 27, and I guess that's kind of it. But for some reason, I feel like 7 is a very powerful number for you right now. Now let's go to the other one. It's only some pages away. So 32 Vesta Hearth. This is page 80. So 8 is also, it reminds me of the 8th house, and that is tied to Scorpio energy. So 8th house is also, or the number 8 is also about success. It's about power. It's about working hard. So working hard on healing yourself, all that. Okay, Vesta calls you to be a hearth fire, to share yourself for the benefit of all, but still have enough energy left to live healthfully and give again for another day. The second largest and brightest asteroid between Jupiter and Mars was named after Vesta, oldest goddess of hearth, home, the family, and the center of strong community. The fire in her temple was never allowed to go out, and the fire on the hearth of every home was sacred for her. She did not get involved in politics or the misadventures of other gods. So that's the thing too. It's like that inner fire within you. Don't let it burn out. Don't give up on yourself. Advocate for yourself. Believe in yourself. And know that you are worthy of having a happy life if you allow yourself to be at that point. Action. Evaluate yourself and your life. Each human's task is to help reduce the total suffering on Earth and increase the total joy. Your joy and suffering matter as much, neither more nor less than anyone else's. Do not burn yourself up for another's cause, nor withhold your warmth, but share what you have to offer. This is not a situation where you need to take sides. Come back to the center, to the flame, to your hearth and your core values. Focus on that center flame instead of the personalities involved. Remember what matters. Find that deep calm within. Light a candle with a prayer and use it to bring your focus to the center and let the rest fall away. Then divide, advise, and operate from there. It may be time to take a retreat, a chance to clear yourself, clear your energy fields, or cleanse your environment. That's the thing too. I think a lot of you need to declutter your environment too and donate things. Reclaim your temple. If a relationship is a true is truly of value and important to your soul, the person or team you're involved with will honor your process. Challenge. Vesta warns you to share yourself rather than sacrifice yourself. Your hard work at holding the situation together may be ignored or taken for granted unless you know your worth. That's the thing. Know your worth. Gift. Find the temple within, the place of quiet safety where you can tend the fire and carry the sacred temple with you always. Okay, so I will leave it at that. Thank you so much, 3C, for watching and listening. I hope that this provides you with insights, clarity, and helps you to go on this self-healing journey for you more than anybody else. You can what was I gonna say? You can comment down below if you resonate with the stack, and you can provide any updates to your comments sometime in the future if there are any updates you would like to provide for us all. You can subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. You can check out my other timeless pick a card reading videos located all throughout my YouTube channel. And you can check out my ASMR channel, Brittney's ASMR. That will be linked in the video description down below. Thank you so much again, 3C, and take care.